So first of all, Catalyst War.
Oh, yeah.
Just concluded.
Yes.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, back to this. Here we are at New York Comic Con 2024. Kyle Higgins. He is the man behind the massive verse. He is radiant, Caucasian.
It's kind of pink-ish.
Now we're talking about Bear McCreary's Singularity.
Yeah.
So he came up with this amazing album that he says he didn't intend a concept album, but here it was, and oh no, we have to do something about this.
Right.
And he comes to you and says what?
Well, I'm going to rewind a second before that.
All right.
Only because you brought up the Catalyst War, which is
Yeah.
our big 3 years in the making multi-timeline Radiant Black event. This project, the Singularity, and my knowledge of it and ultimately involvement in it actually correlates to the exact moment that we really began Radiant Black.
Oh wow.
So I was in Halifax, Nova Scotia in October of 2019 for a convention.
Little chilly.
Little chilly. I was wearing a long coat that I love that I don't get to wear in LA very much. And I was walking down the sidewalk, and I'd been building the beginnings of Radiant Black, and Marcelo Costa, my wonderful co-creator, Marcelo was working on designs, and we had done a round or two and given some notes, and then all of a sudden my phone pings, and I look down, and he's messaged me a new sketch, and I stopped in my tracks, literally, and it was like, that's it, that's the character, and that is the design of Radiant Black. Okay. I do this thing when I'm excited about stuff, and I text it to a bunch of my friends and collaborators and the whole 9 yards. Bear's been one of my best friends for the better part of 15 years.
Oh, wow.
We have so many of the same influences, very similar taste. We both only know how to do things one way, which is all out. And Bear was one of the first people I texted the design to, and he called me, and he's like, dude, what is this? This is sick as hell. Like, are you doing your own thing?
Yeah.
I told him about Radiant Black. He was so encouraging, super dug it. And then he surprised me by pitching me the equivalent of his Radiant Black, which was, for the first time ever, instead of building a musical world for someone else, he was building one of his own.
Yeah.
And that was the Singularity. So fast forward about 6 months, and he called me and said, you know what, I think this could be even bigger. I want to do something that no one has ever really done at the scale of what I'm thinking before, which is I want to do a graphic novel that not only is inspired by the album, is actually a companion to the album, and let's take it one step further, provides a narrative to the album, specifically the track order of the album.
Yeah.
Totally outside the box. I love it. I said yes immediately. First person I called was Matt Groom. I had started Black Market Narrative at this point, or was starting to start it. That's our little creative collective studio we do all our books through. Matt writes Infernal Girl Red for us. He also co-writes Ultraman with me at Marvel and some other stuff that is not announced yet. And Matt is one of the most creative, outside-the-box thinkers I've ever been around. And I said, I've got a crazy one for you. What do you think about trying to do this? He listened to the album, and a few days later messaged us and said, okay, I can't believe it, but I think I have an idea. And that became the pitch to Bear for what the Singularity comic became, which is a story featuring 15 different artists, all depicting different lives of this main character who is going through reincarnation cycles as he discovers that he is much more important to the fabric of reality and is a part of the death of a multiverse as entropy tries to overtake everything. Each one of those lives corresponds to one of the tracks on the album. Casting all the artists came down to me and was so much fun. I've worked in comics full time for almost 15 years at this point, and I've got a big Rolodex of artists I love, and I opened it up and reached out, and we landed some truly incredible collaborators. And now here we are at New York Comic Con talking about the whole thing. I mean, this was a project 5 years in the making, I want to say. I mean, we were working on the book for At least 3.
It seems like that it would take a long time to assemble that many artists, whether they be your artist, your visual artist, or Bear's artists, all those musical people.
Totally.
We understand how it takes very little to bring a bunch of comic artists together, because everybody's just emailing each other, and hey, it's no problem these days, right? In the modern information age.
Have you tried doing that?
Well,
have you tried? How do you feel about wrangling cats? Because that's about the equivalent of
ComicsOnline has been around for 25. No, we're celebrating 25 years now, and so
congratulations.
I'm very good at wrangling cats, or at least persistent, one or the other. But now I realize this is not your part of the thing, but how did Bear pull all of these people together? Were they coming to him, or were they just asked for pieces?
For the musicians?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, okay, similar to my relationships in comics, Bear has a real deep Rolodex of musicians.
Certainly.
Bear's one of those rare composers and musicians who transcends genres and forms. He's predominantly known as a film composer, but I first met him off of Battlestar Galactica live concerts that were equal parts heavy metal, rock, as well as gorgeous, intricate orchestral writing.
Yeah.
That's why I fell in love with his music. Over the years, he not only I don't want to say helped put back together Oingo Boingo, but he was definitely involved in some really legendary kind of concerts with his brother Brendan McCreary stepping in on lead vocals, and Bear kind of was the musical director on a bunch of that stuff. I went to a concert at the Roxy about 10 years ago, longer, about a decade ago at this point.
Yeah.
That was a one-off show just to celebrate Freddie Mercury, and it was all Queen songs, and it was
amazing.
Bear and a lot of the members of Oingo Boingo and Brendan doing pitch perfect, unbelievable Queen renditions. So like I said, he knows all these different people, has deep connections and relationships across musical genres, and so it was really cool to see him kind of again open up that Rolodex and reach out to people. And I think to a person, pretty much everyone said yes, because it's such a different, unique idea that if you care about craft, doing things that haven't been done before and that are working to push the boundaries of the medium you're working in, whether it's comics or music, that's really exciting.
So, for everything geek pop culture,
Sorry.
this is Kyle. He writes all the good stuff. Thanks, Kyle.
Sure.